Hi and welcome to the first public webinar for Alex, me, the Golden Compass, and A Woman on Purpose. And I just want to thank you for taking the time to come and see me. And I just want to let you know that there is a slight delay with this webinar. And so if you have any questions for me, make sure that you put them in the little box that's on the side of the webinar, and I'll answer them all as we carry on. In this webinar, I'm just going to go over what the Golden Compass is, where I got it from, and how it can benefit you. Because I know that you probably know me for my poetry, but I didn't start there. I started a long time ago on this journey, and the Golden Compass is what I've come to give me direction, and I want to pass on to you today. So I want to start with the Golden Compass prayer. This is the prayer that I've put together to just help you get in touch with all the areas of life that you can be as a woman on purpose, so that you can let go of all those things that are not doing you any favors, and you can just hold on to those true things that mean a lot to you. So I just want you to take a minute, settle down, and I'll go through the Golden Compass prayer. My heart is cracked open to give and receive. My feet the foundation, secure just to be. My left hand to help me receive all I desire. My right hand to lend others the help they require. Step forward in trust, in action, in love. Look back to wisdom ancients passed on to us. Look up for guidance, our spiritual signs. I accept my life gratefully. In love, I try. And the prayer is, or can be, given the name of an affirmation, or just something to hold on to when you're feeling like you're losing sight of what direction you're in. I put it together because sometimes we lose sight of, there's so much going on in the world. But if we can come back to our center, our core, and know that we're here, we can give all we can, but we can't give what we don't have. So just remember that this cycle is learning all the time. Embrace all that you can and expand your joy as you're moving forward in this next step with your life. I'm going to try to share my screen. This is my first public webinar, so you might find that I do things crazily. Things might not work, but I'm being honest with you, I might go bright red on occasion. I've been known to do that, but I want to just share some slides with you. I've put a sticky note in the chat box for you to download all of the slides, and so you can take notes. You don't have to download them. If you take notes as we go along, you might get some better idea of how the Golden Compass is put together. There are 2 infinite principles and 6 directions for you to take into account. But none of it is really hard. They're just basic things that I became aware of as I went through my journey, which I will tell you a little bit more about in a minute. But I'm going to try and share my screen with you now so that we can go through them. And tell me in the chat box if you can't see them. Okay, so I have the slides up on my screen now. I hope that you can see them. And this webinar objectives is to see your peaceful, powerful potential, to have a solid foundation to start creating your best life, and to be able to see your self-worth. And the most important thing is for you to be able to see the infinite possibilities. That's where the magic and the awe and wonder and those childlike expectations come together in our lives now, and I promise you, you can get them back. And I really want to make it my mission in life to let us, as women on purpose, lead the way for the next generation. This webinar will also give you your essential tools and resources so that you can be passionate, peaceful, prosperous, and purposeful. And another one that I left off here is patient. Patience is one of the hardest tools to actually gain, but one of the most beneficial tools that you can have, because it allows you to observe more. It allows you to have more in your life. You can see more and you can allow more in because you're more observant. And I think that living your life is really important. And we have, as women in this modern age, a real problem with finding out where we fit in. And this is where my story began, actually. I felt a bit worthless. So I had to create this, and I wish there was a system like this for me to start with when I first began this journey, but there wasn't. So I had to create it, and now it's really important for me to share this with you. And I know that it works because the world does need you. When I started out this journey, I didn't have any idea how much the world would need us. But if you see just over the past few years how the world has become so in need of kindness, of compassion. And when I devised the Golden Compass, it wasn't necessarily for women, and it still isn't necessarily for women. But I think we are the best people to begin this journey. Why? Because we have that desperate desire to do something, and the world needs us, and we have an inherent ability to lead with kindness and compassion and with love at the heart and the center of our lives. In order to be heard, we must speak. In order to be seen, we must go forth. In order to change, we must act. Now, my story, if you are not sure about me and you don't really know me, I was born in the UK, I grew up in South Africa, but I came back when I was 25 years old, and I had a great life. I'd always worked in music and theatre and always achieved everything that I wanted to achieve. But my world came crashing down just after the first miracle in my life. My son was born in the year 2000, and I was told that I would never have children, so he was my little miracle. But then about a year later, I developed a lump on my forehead, and I was diagnosed with a brain tumor. And the night that I went in for surgery, when they found this huge mass on my head, I went over and I sat on the radiator of my ward, and the ward was painted a really dire yellow. It smelt of antiseptic, and there were red crosses on the doors, and I could hear the nurses at the nurses station just poring over my x-rays and CT scans. So I knew that what I had was something really quite dire. And as I sat on the radiator, I looked up at the stars that night, and I made a promise to God, to the universe, but mainly to myself, that if I managed to get through this journey, that I would do everything in my power to make the world a better place. And I got through that first hurdle. The brain tumor was benign. I had a few surgeries after that, but unfortunately I was left with disease of the bone, and that's called osteomyelitis. And I had quite a serious disability and recurring infection for the following 7 years. And at the time, I'd just been homeless. I'd been given a really dire flat in South London. I was a single mum. I was broke. And during those years afterwards, I was subsequently diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder and depression. But I wasn't happy with that. I never stopped thinking about my promise. And so the next part of my story was how I actually got through all of this, despite the infection, despite the disability, how I found my way through financially, spiritually, physically. And I went on to regain my inner peace, my patience and my passion. I went on to find love. And I now have a home in London and a home in Spain. And the most important thing was that I found my confidence. I found my voice and I reinvented myself. The struggles that I know you have, because I had them at the time, were being unheard, not even being seen. When I went to the doctors, I was just my disease or my infection or my disability. I was never Alex as a person. My problems were separate to my disability, and it was really difficult to be heard or seen as I wanted to be as a woman. And I just started to lose all of that confidence that I'd had all my life. And then I developed a pain inside that you think that nobody can understand, but I can, because I've had that pain. And then you've got a pain for the world, which you feel helpless about. You want to be able to save everybody, and you're surrounded by the media and all the negativity in the world, but you don't even know where to start. And then we all have a need for financial security, the need for peace, and the need for confidence in order to actually share our message or share what we're able to do to be useful and to really go out there and be all that we can be. I know the fears that we have, the fear of not being enough, of not being able to survive, of not being able to carry on, of not being worthy, and of not being able to do it. And every time that I do something new, I can honestly tell you that you can do it, because you have to step through that fear. And then we're left with the risk of doing nothing. And what I've got through today, my fear and my ability to do this with you today, is because my passion is so passionate. I want you to know that you don't want to stay stuck. You can do this, I promise you. But you don't want to risk staying stuck. You don't want to stay in financial lack. You certainly don't want to have any regrets. You don't want to miss out on your dreams, and you don't want to keep that feeling. You want to fill that up. The solution that I found after I'd lived in this world of terror and trauma and disability and not being heard and feeling like there was no future for me, was that I had to find my own beauty. And I don't mean my physical beauty. I mean my happiness, my happy spell, and my happy things that make me work. So to find your unique essence. And what my beauty is might be different from you. Well, it certainly will be in some essence. Lots of things that we need and we want together and we can work together with as women are the problems in the world if we can unite. But we all have to be secure in our own beauty. We all have to find that place that makes us happy. We all have to find our surroundings and our security and our foundation, one that we feel comfortable in, not the one that we're dictated that we should have. So the solutions that I found was that I had to get real. I had to get into reality. I had to open those bills. I had to find the money that I was due. I had to look for it. I had to work for it. I had to look at all the opportunities that were there. And then I had to let go of all those things that no longer served me. The fear, the indecision, the procrastination. I'm not saying that I got rid of them in totality, because I haven't. I still have my days when I do get nothing done. But I did have to let go of all of that fear, all of that insecurity, and the guilt and the shame and that inability to step out there and be who I wanted to be. And then I had to find my strength in my gifts. And that's a beautiful thing, because once you start allowing yourself and giving yourself permission, you forgive yourself, you let go of the shame and the guilt, you start creating the space to fill up with that beauty and the beauty that are your unique gifts. And they may be older gifts that you used to have, but they may be newfound ones that you've always wanted to do, but you've never actually taken the time to find out or to learn or to develop. And so just to let you know, I only started writing the poetry just over a year ago. And although I'd used to write lyrics for songs 20 odd years ago, I hadn't written anything for 20 years. So even if that is just one thing, start giving yourself the space to find your gifts again and to develop them. Then I had to find the tools that I would work with, because we're living in a different era. When I first started writing, I thought, well, I'll write a book and then I'll just go and work in my local community. And I remember at the time my mother-in-law saying to me, oh, you'll have to work about the internet and you'll have to find out everything you need to know. And I said, no, I want to work with real people. But lo and behold, she was right, and here I am. But I've had to find out how these new tools work, how the new systems work, how this new world works. And I've had to develop the skills in order to be able to work within this new era that had just eluded me. And then one of the wonderful, wonderful things that I found, again, when you're trying to excavate what you find, what you love, and your inner unique beauty, was getting in tune with my six senses. So getting in tune with your six senses. And I don't call them five senses, I call them six, because my intuition is so strong now, and I trust it as much as I trust my touch, my scent, my eyesight, my hearing. It's all so important to be in touch with all of that, and to trust it, and to work on it, and to practice trusting it, and to practice being in tune with what we really love rather than what's dictated to us. And then when you're looking at all these things and you're creating the spaces, you start to realize that there's a real ebb and flow in life, a huge ebb and flow. So when I look at balance, I look at filling up my cup to overflow. I don't look at a balance in just a general way. I look at it that I fill it so high that when those ebbs happen, I can balance it out then. And hopefully they don't take over, because I'm aware that things don't always go to plan. I'm not going to tell you that everything's going to run smoothly, but I do know that if you fill your cup up, when those ebbs do hit you, even if they're really huge, you're able to develop the ability to just accept them, assimilate them, and move on. And that leads us on to that last point. When you integrate everything that you love into a life that you love, whether that's working as you are at the moment and just starting to enjoy that again, whether that's creating your own business, or whether that's adding some extra parts to your life that can really, really make your life full. Because I believe as a woman on purpose, we need to be full up. We need to work from that place of happiness, peaceful, passionate beauty, in order to be able to be purposeful and to have the poise in order to lead the future generations. When you've managed to do this, when you've managed to get all of those things and put them into a package that suits you, you can start opening yourself up to the infinite possibilities of life. And the infinite possibilities can be yours personally or globally. And your personal infinite possibilities are happiness and freedom, confidence, prosperity, and peace. And your global infinite possibilities, they're the ones where we really can make a difference. So I don't care where you are, how low you are, just know that you can be a part of this movement where we can influence future generations with the infinite possibilities. So that there is less violence, that there's less hunger, less death from disease or conflict, and so that there's more understanding and more abundance for everybody. I see that now, but I also see that we need to take action. So I'm just surmising, as a woman on purpose, what we want. I think we all want to stop the pain. We want to heal the wounds of our heart and personally, or the wounds of the world. And we want to make the world a better place and to ensure that all people are equal. And I mean really equal, not just equal on some corporate level. And I think we all need to want to love life and to live without any shame, any pain, or any doubt. And that's really difficult because we've got so many influences in this world as it is now. So I want you to be able to write your own best life and to leave a legacy. Because when we're looking at what we can do as a woman on purpose, that's what we're ultimately doing. We want to leave that legacy. And it doesn't matter whether that's a tiny legacy of kindness in your home or a huge legacy to the world. You just need to be comfortable with it. You need to be comfortable to either grow into the hugeness of it or to be comfortable in your package in its small scent. And you need to know that both are as important. So how do you get what you want? How does a woman on purpose get what she wants? And this is what I've learned. You need to gain your independence. She needs to gain her confidence again. She gives her gifts and shares them with the world. And she unites with her sisters in peace and power and prosperity. Because we're working in a modern world. We're working in a world that is now. And although for some of us, it might be an ideal to live in a commune and away from the world, for most of us, it means living as we are in our homes, in our community. And that means we have to understand that we live within a monetary society. So we need to be responsible for ourselves in order to gain that independence. And we need to be confident enough to speak up and to share who we are and to give our gifts to the world. So as I've said to you, I want to give you all that you need to fill your cup to the brim and share your gifts with the world from a place of overflow. I want you to become spiritually full, financially free, and confidently unstoppable. And that's the Golden Compass. After I'd written all of this system and then referenced it to ancient texts and philosophies and noticed that essentially they were all saying the same thing in the kindness and then compassionate ones. Those stories that we hear, it doesn't matter where you are in the world. And I wanted to create something that was non-denominational so that women all over the world, no matter what your faith or belief, can work together as an umbrella. And the Golden Compass gives you this. It gives you everything that you need. And if you take these symbols away and just know them, you can feel where you're out of balance. You can see within your innate sense whether you need to pay attention or learn some more. And the thing about it is it's in a cycle. It doesn't ever end. It's there for you to be navigated, to navigate your own journey, to guide you from your inner compass. So the Golden Compass has 6 directions and 2 infinite principles. And the 6 directions are the balancing act and solid foundation, the love and relationships, work and wealth, law and community, health and well-being, and spiritual practice and personal philosophy. Now, your balancing act and solid foundation are your most essential thing to have. You need to create your secure foundation. This is the part where you're happy, where you feel free, where nobody can take that away from you. So your secure foundation is your home. It's your place of safety. And it's enough to ensure your survival and security are taken care of, because that is the most important thing. And it doesn't matter whether you have lots of people giving that to you. The most important thing is you take responsibility to ensure that you can sustain that, so that you become financially stable, so that you're realistic with it. You don't have to have huge goals. We start where we are. And then you decorate it with what makes you feel good. And I don't mean decorate it as in go out and spend lots of money. I mean, you make it comfortable. You make it beautiful for you. You make that secure. Because once you've got that foundation, that is your platform to grow. And once you have it, everything feels a lot more comfortable, secure, and you feel safe. So this makes sure that you take into consideration all of your budgeting. And I like to look at budgeting in two ways. I like the budgeting for personal survival, so where we are now, so creating that solid foundation for where we are now and to sustain us. But then I like to look at dream budgeting, and I call that lottery living. But to create your lottery living budget, you need to be real with yourself. So if you want that mansion, you need to ensure that either you're going to get up and enjoy cleaning every room in the house, or you have enough money to employ other people to help you. And also, if it's your dream life, you want to be able to support that too. So if you want to go into holistic arts or a career where you're healing people, you need to ensure that that gives you enough money to keep your solid foundation. It doesn't matter whether that budget is huge or little. It just needs to be able to keep that foundation secure. And the next direction is your work and wealth. This is where you create your enjoyment and your purpose for your passion and your legacy. And you don't have to start your own business. You can just enjoy going to work. That's good, but you need to enjoy it because it's a huge part of your day. And if you can get to the point where you can mix them, intertwine them, whether you're working for somebody else or for yourself, you can create that full life that we're all looking for. Excuse me. And you can do what you need to do now to create your dream life. As I said, you have to be honest about what that is, what that dream life is, and you need to be able to create a plan to support it. But the plan is part of the journey. So when you're creating that plan, you need to be able to create every step of the masterpiece and make each step of the journey enjoyable, a bit like creating postcards along the way, so you can send them back and look at them and remember them and hold memories. And then when you've managed to ensure that you have that balance between what your passion is and your purpose, you can create prosperity. And by prosperity, I mean whatever that is for you, because the more you have, the more you're able to give. And whatever that is that's most important for you to be able to give. So whether that's money or time or influence or confidence, you need to be able to create that prosperity. So this is where we look at all of those aspects. When it comes to love and relationships, your third direction, we all want better relationships. We all want stronger bonds and more understanding and more trust. And I work with the analogy of a circle of safety, because we live in a transient world, but we all need that community. We come from the human species over many years, and we need that community. And you need to find one that suits you, and one that you can let off a bit of steam and give yourself the freedom to say what you want to say and not have it taken and used against you. And that circle of safety is so important because it gives you that opportunity to rant and scream and shout, and then you can come back to normal in the morning. I know that I have one, and I have people that I share my crazy side with, and I have an alter ego that I call Roxy, and she goes out dancing and she thinks she's still 21, and that is so essential as our primal self, because we need to be real when we're in relationships, and we need to understand a few things. So we need to understand that we need to see things through other people's eyes as well. And we can't expect other people to be perfect. We need to learn to accept them as they are, in whatever stage of their growth they're in. If we love people, we can't expect them to be on the same journey as we are. There will be some, and that will may be your circle of safety in one area, but then you may have another circle of safety that you go to that is a completely different group of people. When you're honest, when you learn to be honest, it frees you so much. And you can't break honest. You absolutely can't break honesty. When you're being honest, it doesn't matter in what capacity that is. Nobody can get through that shield. And that builds more trust in relationships and enables you to form better relationships with your partners or your families, because once you've given that honesty, there is no barrier in between you. When we look at the health and well-being, I look at body, mind and spirit all in one. Over the past 20 or 30 odd years, we've given a lot of emphasis on our body, and we've sort of left our mind and spirit. And although there's a huge movement with spirituality or mind growth and personal development, we still haven't really integrated all of that as really important for us all to have that balance. And as I say, you've got to keep that balance full. It doesn't mean that you have to be perfect, and you just need to be responsible. You have to balance naughty with nice and become more aware of each aspect. And then you've got to listen and take action. But you have to incorporate all of you in order to be full. You have to be aware of your body and your mind and your spirit. And I know from my personal journey that there are times when I emphasize and take action with a certain area. Sometimes I'll be running and doing my Zumba for months on end and feel really, really, really good physically. But then I may have left my spirituality and sort of gone away from that. So it's about coming back to the compass and seeing what is out of kilter, what you need to take action with and emphasize on. And your mind is such a wonderful thing, and I can speak from experience here, having had lots of different infections with my head and my mind and my body. I know that when my mind has expanded, I think differently. So I can tell you that you can have different thoughts, and to learn is one of the gifts we have. Never ever stop learning. And that's why it's important to take care of your mind, because we have to learn to let go. We have to learn to create our own rhythm. We have to get into that own unique essence that works for us. We need to get rid of all those bits that don't serve us so that we can really leave space for all of that expanding joy, expanding awareness, and the ability to then find solutions for us and solutions for the planet. I've got law and community as one of the 6 directions, and I get a lot of confusion. Why has she got law and community? Surely that's not important. But as I've just mentioned, your community is one of the basic things of being a human. And the laws that we have, they govern us. So we have to live and work within the laws that are around at the moment. And if we want to be influential in creating new laws, if we want to create a new paradigm and create a better world in the future, we need to know about the laws that are now in order to create the new structures, systems that are enabling people to work together. Because your law and community is where your purpose essentially will be. If you are giving in any way, shape or form, if you're working, it will be within a community. And there will be laws about how you give, how you offer your services, or how you work. There just are. So it's very important, and I don't like to dress up words. I use words every day, but I found that if I tried to please everybody, I would never let my own real thoughts come through. And as you've seen, my poetry is my passion now. So, and this is my purpose. My purpose is to help women all over the world to become part of this community where we all stand on our own 2 feet, but we can unite together and say, hey up, we need to do something. We need to take action. And I know that there are so many people in the world that want to do something, but there isn't anywhere for them to do it. And I'm telling you that there is. There is, whether it's in your local community or whether it's in the Woman on Purpose community or in a community that serves you much better, then you have that reason. You are enough and your world needs you right now. The last of the 6 directions is spirituality and philosophy. And this is to create your individual path to freedom and allow others theirs. And I didn't just stick with spirituality because I was out one night and I heard somebody talking about the fact that they didn't believe that they had a soul. And I couldn't believe that, but I had to take it on board because this is what I was creating. So when I did put this together, it's not just for people that think that there is a spiritual world, but you have to find your own philosophy in order to deal with life. So this is about creating your own path. This isn't about being dictated to. This isn't about being told what to do. This is about making up your own mind and allowing you the freedom to create that path that suits you. And I would like to add here that you need to give yourself the freedom to be able to change your philosophy. You need to be able to give yourself the freedom to change directions or to incorporate more ideas, because you'll find that there are lots of things out there that will serve you. And as we grow, I've found, and I'm sure you will find, that you change. Some things they don't work as well, and you want to try other directions. And whether that's dancing, whether that's art, whether that's a religion, whether that is chanting, and for me, I love call and response, whatever that works for you, you're finding the path that leads you from here to your purpose and our end result, our legacy. So you need to have that in place, and you need to give yourself the freedom to create that path and to walk that path. And so in doing so, you allow the freedom for others. The 2 infinite principles. There are the infinite principle of self, and that's all that we know and we can control. And the infinite principle of the unknown. And I like to call that the infinite possibilities. And that's about getting in touch with all that we do not know and we can't control. And I came to those conclusions because I know that there are things that I can do, things that I can actually have control of, and it was quite simple. But then there's the other end of the stick, where there's religion or there's science, and we are not sure of the answers. And I know that there's such huge amounts that we actually don't know, and we didn't know 20 years ago or 50 years ago or 100 years ago. And I don't want to put myself into a box and say that isn't so. I don't want to tell other people. I also don't want to stop myself or not allow myself to take the magic and take the awareness of that intuition and those magical moments, because that unknown is where they lie. But to start off with, the infinite principle of self is, for me, integral to actually starting to take action. It's when we take full responsibility for ourselves and that foundation that we're creating and the dream life that we want. It's we take control of that. We're honest with ourselves. We don't blame anybody else. And we dream big and we make the match. And then we have to make good choices and take chances and make changes with our lives. And that's hard. It's hard when you're in that comfort zone. It's really quite difficult. And then we need to take action with that. And that's even harder, because we can take action and do it in our own home or behind a computer. But when we're actually being visible and taking action out of ourselves and taking ourselves into the real world again, it is scary. I'm not going to lie to you. But it is so rewarding when you take that you can control and run with it and really do things with it and kick yourself up the bottom and make sure that you just do something towards your dreams every single day, or just for taking responsibility in the first instance, like opening those bills, making sure that you're sorted, and then taking the next step. And then, as I said, the magic of the infinite principle of possibilities. And that's knowing that we don't know everything and accepting that in our core. And instead of accepting it and feeling that we can't do anything about it, accepting it and knowing that that's where the magic is. That's where the mystery is. That's where, when you take those chances and you're slapped around by serendipity, or as I like to call it, conscious coincidence, that's where you get that excitement and the tingly feeling and those childlike anticipation of what could be, because you're taking those steps. And as you take more of those steps, the more magic and the more miracles appear, and you just become in awe of life. I'm not saying that it happens every day, and I'm not saying that you don't have low days. You do, and I will be completely honest with you there, because to not be honest and say that you all only have great days would be a lie. And I still suffer with bad days, but as I've developed all the tools that I need, and I've become aware of how my body reacts physically, emotionally, and spiritually, I'm able to deal with it a lot better. So I know that there's an end to that. There's an end to that all the time. And that the awe and the wonder of the infinite possibilities is there. Usually at the end of one of these uncomfortable feelings, whether it's a feeling of really not feeling worthy or not being able to do it, usually when I have that feeling now, I come out of it the other end with a huge awe-inspired idea, or just the answer, a solution to what is not quite right, even if I didn't realize that it wasn't quite right. So it's embodying all that you don't know. Embody the fact that you just will never know it all. And I like to see it as where science and spirit will meet one day. Now, that's just my opinion, or it's not even an opinion, it's the way I like to think about it. And if you can embrace that, then you've got the power to have the magic and the mystery and the miracles in your life again. Not every day, but they occur when you start taking those actions on the infinite principle of self. If you start getting those in line, then you're able to really see that magic happen. I've got a warning here, and it says you do have to do the work, and I can vouch for that. You know, there are 3 stages to being a woman on purpose and the golden compass. And what I've just shared with you is the rounded picture. It's about taking those things and being aware of it. And I gave you a guided visualization just to run through all of those things so that you can become aware whenever you need to of an area that perhaps you need to pay more attention to. And if you can just take these and run away with that, you will know within your core where you need to pay attention. If you're honest with yourself, and you really have to take that chance with yourself that you will have the answers if you step through that fear and you are honest with yourself. Because that does, every time you let go of something, it does leave a space for the magic to happen, or for you to learn more, or for you to gain the confidence in another area. So the 3 stages of the golden compass are the foundation, and that's what I teach, and I will introduce you to that in a minute. But when you've come to grips with all those areas, you need to practice. You need to practice them all the time. It's not something that you just learn and then it's forgotten about. You have to go back to it, and go back to it time and time again until you practice it. But when you do practice something and you get to the embodied stage, which is the 3rd stage, you know it so well that it's a part of you. And you don't have to look back at your notes. You don't have to look back. Occasionally you have to just make sure that it's being taken care of. But once you've embodied it in that 3rd stage, you leave huge space for more love, for more magic, for more mystery and more miracles, for more learning, for more solutions, to expand your awareness and to expand your observation, and to let in more that you need to even be more powerful, so that you can be more passionate. And what I've found is, as I develop more skills and I embody them, and it doesn't matter whether they're practical skills or they're spiritual skills, you just become really good at multitasking all of these areas. They don't have to be one. So I've been known to write the poem while I'm on the treadmill, and it's amazing how much your life is just your life, whether that's work or not. It all just seems to start to come together. It doesn't have the separation, the work-life balance that we have seen in the past couple of decades. Sort of, I think that's slightly outdated at the moment. We're growing in a way that we want to be full up, and there are lots of places in the world that need us, but we need to be comfortable in whatever capacity that is for us. So I suggest here is that you take that first step and create your solid foundation, and get that to grips first. Have the dream world, because you need to be able to have those dreams and that expansion and awareness. But if you have a general plan, it does seem to happen. You are able to embody things. As you learn to become more confident in anything that you do, whether that is just opening the bills from the bank, or whether that is becoming more able to do your work on a practical level, so that it becomes easier and you can do things within 15 minutes, those things that used to take you all day, then there is room for other things. So when you're learning something, don't say, no, I can't. Just say, yes, I can, and learn it, and then get quicker at it and better at it, so that you can have more time and more energy and more space to fill. So a woman on purpose, I believe, is a woman feeling transition. And if you've watched any of my videos, you'll know that I feel that there's a golden thread that's piercing the hearts of women all the way around the world. I'm not saying that I leave men out. I don't. I absolutely don't, because I believe that we are growing into a new paradigm, a new era, and that we have the power to make it better. So when I talk about that transition and that piercing heart, the reason I've worked with the Woman on Purpose is because I think we are the ones to start this resolution, as I like to call it, not revolution. It's a resolve to make the world a better place, to make our lives better, because I do want it all. I am a bit of a greedy girl, you know. I want a nice life. I want my health taken care of, but I don't want to be patronized anymore. I don't want to be put down. I want the freedom to do what I want to, and I want other women to have that freedom. And once we have that freedom, once we are able to be more secure in our own environment, I think that we'll automatically give men the space that they need to start embarking on this journey if they haven't already. So the Golden Compass is for life and work. It's about integrating them both. It's about integrating all of those aspects in your life so that you're living full. And it's about supporting others through the different ages that we're going through. The women that I tend to speak to are of a certain age. We've usually had children, but not all the time, but we've got to a stage where the rules aren't written. And I'd like to see us writing those rules together. It's my dream and my pension plan to have gold lame and big hair and do cabaret on Friday. That's my pension plan, and that got me working again. And I also go through this in the training that I deliver, because it is important to have goals and dreams, but they don't have to be goals and dreams that are unattainable. You can attain them, but you don't also have to have them right now. You can have them in the future and be making each step a masterpiece as you're going along. And what we can do as we're creating this new way of living and this new way of life is look back and support others who are going through this. I know that we've been very fortunate in the past 40, 50 years as women, but we really are on a different level. We want to look good. We want to feel good. We want to be full up. We want to travel. We want to be independent, but we also want love and we want security, like every person on this earth mainly wants. So I see us as having a huge influence on the future generations. We're creating the path, and I want to allow the women of the future to know that they can have everything, that they don't have to just stop, that they can start living even further and doing more for themselves and opening this up for future generations. So in essence, we're leading the way. I'd just like to tell you now about the foundation, because this is really why I started A Woman on Purpose. I wrote a book because I wanted to help all the women from around the world become spiritually full, financially free, and confidently unstoppable. But what I found was it was all too much information. And then I developed the poetry, and the poetry actually went with the lessons. And even though that I didn't write it together, there was this beauty and this synergy between them. And I was asked to put all of my teachings, my poetry, into a course. So last summer, I sat in my house in Spain, and I created the foundation course, which is giving all of those things, all of those lessons, all of those essential practices and insights that I had to go through over the last 10 years, so that you don't have to go through the same trouble as I did. And I also wanted to create something where we can share this message and unite, so that we can share this message as individuals, and so that we can excavate our own story, because I know that we all have stories. We all go through different trauma or different challenges during our lives, and we can all go through the same practices and lend our own unique voice and our own unique essence to what that is. And the world needs that now. I know that because when I took my business plan to save the world to a business advisor, she said, Alex, people need your patience, your passion, and your ability to get through. The world needs that, and the world needs that now. And the more I do this, the more I see that. And the more I do this, the more I'm exposed to how powerful this work is. So I want to be able to share that magic and share that with you and with all of the women of the world, and as many as I possibly can. But I am just one woman on my own. I don't have a team behind me. I have spent and invested all of my time into creating this. I'm so passionate about supporting women all over the world. I don't have a huge trust fund. I don't have people helping me out. So I have to do this. But the wonderful thing about having to do this is that I had to find my confidence. I was so passionate about the story that I knew that I had to find a way that I was confident enough to deliver it. So I've even got those bits in this story for you so that you can develop that unstoppable confidence that I've got to keep you in momentum and propel you forward. And it really is a beautiful cycle. I see it as never ending, and I see it as eternity. I see it as an eternal cycle. But I would like to take a few minutes and just go through the foundation to see whether it's something that you need or you think somebody else needs, or just something for you to think about in your essence. So in the module 1, we go through the introduction. I talk about the new paradigm of feminine leadership exactly as I've done tonight. I'm really passionate that we all are enough. I'm really passionate that the world needs us and the world needs us now. But we can't keep working within the old systems and the old forms of structure that there are. So we need to be able to be secure enough in ourselves to all stand up and unite together in kindness and compassion. In module 2, I go over the golden compass, and I share this with you again and why it's so important. And it is important, and I reference it so that whether it's psychological or whether it's philosophical or whether it's spiritual, we just have something to bear in mind when we're looking at ourselves. Because once you've learned something, you can devote your energy to one area. You need to come back and sit in a place of personal reflection. In module 3, I talk about the balancing act and solid foundation, and this is about really getting real and sorting out those essential parts to make your home a real home, to make it comfortable, to make it safe in whatever capacity that is for you. And then I get into reality, and we make budgets and things like that. I think one of the most important modules that I created was letting go. I didn't realize how powerful that would be. And just to let you know, a little secret that I have is that I have a secret vault. You know, for those pieces of jewelry that you perhaps have that are worth a lot of money, but you will never wear because they either have bad memories or they're just not for you. Well, I know that a lot of us have traumas and things that we don't like to think about, but essentially they've created us who we are now. So instead of forgetting them, I put them in the secret vault. I put them in a bank vault. And they're there. They're a part of us, but we don't have to open that vault every day. So I just wanted to share that with you because that's one of the most important things that I can pass on to you in the time that we have today. I also look at the gifts of life, and that's where hope, belief, trust, love come in. And those really important ones, forgiveness and permission. I know that so many of us women suffer with being unable to forgive ourselves or other people, and giving ourselves permission to move forward and to get bigger and to live our biggest lives. And it's scary, and we have all those excuses, but this is where the tools of life come in. And in module 7, we go over all those bits that we do have in order to put them together so that we can get over those hurdles that we all have. I look at the 6 senses and really get you in touch with all those things that you love. Not the favorite flavor of the month, but what you love again, so that you can expand that. And then we look at expanding our joy even further, because the more we're able to accept things and the more we're able to expand our joy, the more we love. And that makes our lives better. And that I find is incredibly powerful as well. I look at ebb and flow. Ebb and flow are when shit hits the fan. Excuse my language. But if we have flow in our lives, and as I say, if we fill our cup, if we fill that to overflow, when ebb hits the fan, it allows us to just take it. I'm not saying that it doesn't affect us. Of course it does, especially those hard times of grief and bereavement that we all have. But when our cups are full, when we have a life of purpose, when we know that we're giving all that we can give, and we're in flow with that, we've found our own rhythm, whether that's seasonal rhythm or a rhythm that works for you on a daily basis, we can change that. We learn to adapt, and we change as and women, we change a lot. We change if we have children, we change as we grow older, our bodies change, the way we think changes, and the world changes around us. So it's really important to be able to accept the ebb and flow and to accept the changes that do occur. When I tell you more about the principle of the unknown, we go into all the magic again. We look at all those things that you can develop and the things that we could develop together, like new celebrations, new rituals. And I love the thought of being able to take hold of every fiesta, every celebration that is in the world, because as I said to you before, I'm a little bit of a greedy girl, and I would love to be able to do everything as long as it's good, as long as it's good for us. And then with the infinite principle of self, I teach that when we take control of our lives, when we really start to take action, take a few risks, make a few changes, then the whole world changes for us. We can assimilate anything, and the world becomes our oyster. So if you are interested in joining the foundation course, we're going to start with live calls next Wednesday on March the 18th. And with the people that have already joined, there are lots of people around the world, so I'll probably change the times so that everybody gets a chance, because I do a live webinar, and at the moment 10 people can come online, so it looks like we're in a conference room, and it's so beautiful and forms such a wonderful community. The modules that I give are released weekly, and there are between 3 and 6 lessons per module. You can work in your own time, but it's really best if you do keep up, especially if you want to be able to teach this work, which I hope that most of you do. Because in the whole process of this foundation course, you excavate your story and what you decide to give, whether that is with every insight, with every practice or exercise. You don't have to do it all. You can either do it under the banner of A Woman on Purpose, or you can take it and run with it under your own brand. All I would say is, if you can just acknowledge where it comes from. I give you presentation videos like this one, downloadable slides, downloadable audio, and downloadable worksheets. I've been made aware that the slides haven't worked for this particular broadcast, but they are all downloadable, so you would be able to do this, and I will actually put this up for you and record these slides for you so that you can see them and go through this again if you want to. So I'd just like to ask you, are you committed to being all that you can be, to being a woman on purpose, in whatever capacity that is? Because if you are, I'd love for you to join us, especially as a teacher. You can take this as a personal reflection package as well. And if you do want to, you can always get in contact with me. But what I see and what I've developed is for other women who were in the same place I was 10 years ago. I wanted somewhere where I could give back to the world, where I could empower women, where I could feel full and useful and happy again. And I know that I'm not the only one. I know that there are so many women in the world that need empowering, whether that is in just a locality or in order to help with bigger solutions for the world. We're in desperate need at the moment. So for me, it is empowering you to empower others. And I do live group training every Wednesday for the next 12 weeks for the foundation course. And then after that, I go on and do the teacher training course. And the workbooks, there's over 400 pages of exercises, templates and practices for you to use. You get to use all of my poetry, and every single lesson I have a poem that lends to the teaching and expands with that. And you can also download the audio if that's a better way of learning. So if you're in the car, you can listen to me if you so desire. And what you also get is a full PDF, full color copy of the book, because I wanted to start this from a place of beauty. And what I've uploaded, and the Kindle version is just words. When you see the beauty of the PDF copy, you can see that I even started creating pretty things then, because I know that we need happiness. Well, I needed happiness, and I know how great it is if we are able to give from a place of happiness and beauty for ourselves. And unfortunately, we're living in a world where we're bombarded with negativity. And I know that if we can start creating this world and making it prettier in any which way we can, we'll all be able to do so much better. So we've also got a teacher's Facebook page, and I help you as much as I possibly can. I say that I give you 3 60-minute calls, but I am available. I say 3 60 minutes because that's what I can commit to, but I'm always here to help you. I will always encourage you. I will give you everything that you need if you ask for it. I've had to learn all of this. If you decide that you want to do the same, I'm glad to give it to you. I will give you everything that I've possibly learned. But yes, once we finish that, we'll also have a monthly Teachers Mastermind webinar where we can get together and just talk and chat and workshop some ideas and put some strategies together for workshops, for retreats, for classes, whether you're doing VIP packages or one-on-one coaching, whatever that is. It's nice to be able to come back and just have that mastermind, because I know it's really difficult to find somebody that perhaps won't be on the same level as you. And it's nice for us to have that interaction, because I don't know everything, and we can all learn from one another, and it's great to have that community. And what I would like to say is that for as long as the lifetime of the course is around, and I don't have control of that, I will be doing this as many times as I possibly can. I'll try to do it twice a year to start with, and you're able to join in wherever you want to. So if you do decide to join us, you're with us and you have a community for as long as you want. As a bonus, I will share with you my Facebook secrets, and I don't know whether you've noticed, but only in the past year I've managed to grow the Facebook page into over 37,000 fans, and I don't use ads. To be honest, I boost my posts, but I don't use ads, and I've managed to find all of you lovely ladies because I know who I'm looking at, and I will share that with you. I also show you how to create the images like I do, because I do all of that myself, and it did used to take me a day and a half, but then I've managed to put it into a time where I can write a poem and create the image and put it up within half an hour. So even these things are really important, so that you can see that you don't need to do everything, and you don't have to say, no, I can't. You can learn things, and you can get them done so that they're just integrated with your life. And I also share with you the Golden Compass for life and business. This is something I'm working on at the moment, because I know it's so important for lots of people, not just women. It's when we integrate our life and our businesses together, and we live a lifestyle that suits us. It's when you can truly embody your unique essence and personal flow. And I do that through a workshop, and I've actually written a little ebook to go with it. So I'm happy to share all of that, because it really makes sure that whatever you're doing, it's that last element of aha, because the compass can relate so well to business, and it fits all of those essential things that you do need for a business. You know, when you sort of don't look at something in your life, or you don't give enough emphasis to something in your business, it works along the same principle. So we go through a whole webinar with a workbook for that as well. And the price for this, the investment for this, is a one-time payment of $997, and that's US dollars. And I've been asked for payment plans. I wish I could give this for free, but if I don't charge, one, I won't be valued, but also I won't be able to carry on doing this, because it does cost money behind the scenes, and I want us all to be empowered and growing and growing. But I have listened, and I will give you the option to pay over longer payment plans. So there are 3 different options there for payment plans, and you can pay in 3 installments of $397, or 6 installments of $207, or 13 installments of $99. And what I will say about this is that I'm so convinced that this is such a powerful, purposeful way to start again, or to incorporate a new way of self-development or personal development into your own business or practice. It's so powerful that you get a 30-day money-back guarantee. And also, you can cancel it at any time. If your world changes, which I know it does, because I'm very aware that we're all women and life goes up and life goes down. But what I would encourage you to do is to speak to me. Even if these plans don't suit you, I encourage you to speak to me, because what I do teach is responsibility. It is important to be responsible for yourself. And if you take action, I will help you. I will help you as much as I can. If you don't, I'm unaware of it. So if you do want to move forward with this, please reach out. If you have any more questions, then please don't hesitate to let me know. But I'm just going to give you the link for that now. Oh, look, I can see this now, because I'm really sorry that we didn't have the slides. I'm hoping that you've managed to download the link so that you've got everything that you need. I'm just going to give you the other, if you do decide to join me, I'm going to give you the registration link now. But I also want to have a look in here for any questions. So I'm just going to see if I can do that again. I'm not sure whether that's going to work. Let me have a look. Let me put that in again. Oops. It's so sticky. There we go. So we've got one of those links. I'm just, oh, we've got South African, Dutch, and Jackie. Got Afrikaans coming on. I'm just seeing if you've got any questions for me. The live call in the course call. I'm just having a look through. I'm so sorry about the slides not coming through. I don't know what happened there, and I can't seem to come back. But ég praat goeie Afrikaans, Jackie. I'm listening to that. I don't see any questions here. If you do want to speak to me, I'm happy to take any questions that you have. There will be a replay of this available as well. And I hope that you've enjoyed it. Hi, Heather. Oh, lovely. It's lovely to hear from you. Thank you very much. It's nice to hear that, because when I'm actually looking at this, it's quite difficult to interact with you on a personal basis. And this is also my first public run, so it's quite a huge thing for me. And you just make it so much easier every time I listen to women, and I understand how empowering this is and how much we need this work. I know that we can all do so much, and I wish I had a magic wand, but I think if I had a magic wand, I wouldn't be this passionate. So that is why I want you to have that passion too, and I just want to pass it on to you. So I'm going to end this. I'm going to read my poem called She Has a Golden Kiss. And if you want to either sign up at the registration link now, you will be immediately taken through to the first module and the instructions. Just be aware that I might change the times so that they're more flexible for the people that are around the world. I know we have some people in Australia, some people in the US, so I have to be bearing that in mind and give everybody a chance to be live. So the call days will stay the same, but we might just change them a little bit. But please do join up. Please ask me any questions that you want. I know that there's a delay on here, so if I will keep this open once I've stopped broadcasting, just in case I've missed any. If you just put, I'll put the answers in a file on the webinar download page. So the event page, I'll put them in there as well, and along with the link to the replay. And I thank you all very much for joining me tonight. I really am so grateful, and I hope that I can help you, and I hope that I'll be meeting some of you as well. So I'm going to finish off with a poem, and then I'm going to say good night. She has a golden compass in her heart to lead her where her sacred path will find her, placed from where her gifts to share. She follows the direction, trusting fully, taking care, to let her plans awaken, open fully her desire. Taking heed of challenges, bearing all in mind, gathering her inner strength, her courage she must find. She opens her heart fully, she gathers all her might. Life's path is not an easy one, but she will not lose her sight. As the people angry fierce get louder day by day, she feels the call of love inside. It's time to lead the way. Her compass shows the divine path, enough for her to see. It's time for her message share. It's time for love to be. For every woman being led by the call of something more, compassion, kindness fuels her fire. Their love will conquer all. No longer can she just be small, forgotten and forlorn. It's time to rise, pioneer, a new world to be born. So if magnetically you're drawn to be more, to reach out, listen to your compass cry, in that you'll have no doubt. Be sure that you are not alone. There has never been a time when women have had as much love to give as there is now. So listen closely, feel within, the pull that you do feel. Your golden compass has begun. To you, it will reveal. Mwah. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Charlotte. Thank you, and good night.